Morning, everybody. Yep, I probably look a little bit different than I normally do when I'm doing my videos here, but it's Friday morning, and I am home on Fridays and Saturdays with my family. And I just wanted to give a brief update on the video that I posted earlier in the week, the Town of Raymond Foxconn meeting, and I want to just give some feedback as to what I took away from the meeting. Number one, the county, Racine County, seems like they are very anxious in wanting Raymond to figure out how to get sewer out here and to do it quick. I know, so my father-in-law is one of the town board members, and I know that one of the struggles that Raymond's had in the past is, well, trying to decide where to get the sewer from, but most importantly, Raymond would basically have to pay for everything, to bring it from the east side of the interstate over to the west side of the interstate. Raymond, the town of Raymond, Wisconsin, is located in Racine County, and we are just west of the interstate between Highway K and 8 Mile Road. So that's been the biggest challenge, is them having to pay to bring the sewer in which at this point, Raymond probably says, well, we're not in dire need of it, so, we're not going to pay to have this brought over. Well, now it seems like things are changing. So the county executive was at the meeting, and he said that the town of Raymond is going to be getting contacted by some other larger companies that are basically going to be coming in on the coattails of Foxconn. Two of the companies that were made mention of, which are large companies, are BASF and Dow Chemical. And I actually live on 43rd Street. I'm exactly 1 mile from the interstate. And if I look at the 2035, planning, future planning for the town of Raymond, right across the street to the east of me, going all the way to the interstate, is actually land that can be more residential. Businesses can go there, it can become more subdivided. Essentially, if a big business wants to set up shop in the town of Raymond, which they have apparently expressed major interest in doing, we don't know where that's going to happen. And I have a much different perspective on things now than I even did a few weeks ago. I've been empathetic for the people that are in the Foxconn build zone, the residents there, and I've been doing everything that I can do to help. And now I could possibly be affected as well, our home and family. And it puts things into a new perspective. But either way, point number one that was made at this Town of Raymond board meeting was, we want you to get sewer, we want you to figure it out and figure it out quickly. Number two was, big companies like BASF, Dow Chemical, and others have basically targeted Raymond and probably Yorkville as well as areas where they would like to set up shop. And right now there's not a lot of frontage available on the interstate in the town of Raymond. I think there's really only two large pieces that I know of. So if a big company wants to set up shop in the town of Raymond, they may not be able to do it right on the interstate. They may have to go a little bit further west, which affects the residents, farms, people who live in the town of Raymond, not just on the frontage road or interstate. So that was point number two, is the county executive said, town of Raymond, you will be getting contacted by large companies, so be ready. He did say that it's up to you as the board to decide whether or not you want a big company to come in and set up shop. Now, I don't know if I 100% agree with that. I think if a big company, look at what's going on with Foxconn. Yes, they're a much bigger company, but I don't think that Mount Pleasant really had any choice, any say in the matter. Once they decided that's where they wanted to go, I don't think that Mount Pleasant had the authority to say, well, no, we don't want that to happen here. You're going to have to move along. I highly doubt that happened. So the town of Raymond, being a smaller town, it's not a village like Mount Pleasant is. If a big company like Dow Chemical, BASF, wants to come in and set up shop here, I highly doubt that the town of Raymond is going to have the authority to, no matter what Racine County says right now, I just find it hard to believe, and I may be wrong, but I find it hard to believe that they would have, the authority to turn away a big company like that. I think Racine County, the state would step in and say, well, this is in our best interest, maybe not the town of Raymond's best interest, but the state of Wisconsin and Racine counties, so we're going to try and make this happen. So those were the two things I took away from the meeting in Raymond. As a resident in the town of Raymond, I wasn't expecting that to happen. And I just got a message here. Chris Branson, thanks for tuning in here. So Foxconn has said they see a total investment in the area of 20 to 40 billion when everything is done. That's staggering. That is an amazing number. I met with a couple residents yesterday that live along Highway H and KR, and I still don't know everything about the project, and this was one thing I didn't know, is that KR from the interstate all the way down to, I believe, Green Bay Road, Highway H from Highway 11 to at least KR, and then Braun Road, just little country road. I used to travel that road every day on my way to school when we were younger. We went to school in Union Grove, and that's the road that we took. So Braun Road, KR, and Highway H are all going to be turned into 6-lane highways. Right now, it's a 2-lane country road. It's now going to be 6 lanes. The residents that I met with yesterday, both of them live about, one of them is probably 50 feet off of the road. The other was about 100 feet off of the road, but the road is going to swallow up where their house was. So those particular homes would be, you would be correct in saying that that would be eminent domain, because the road is going to be expanding there, and it's going to be expanding past where those houses are. But that area is going to be just unrecognizable by the time everything is done there. I think trying to even visualize a 6-lane highway, where Braun Road currently is, and then KR and Highway H, it's pretty crazy to think about. Getting off track a little bit, I just wanted to touch bases on that Town of Raymond Town Hall meeting. So I'll recap real quick here. Number one, Racine County wants Raymond to get the sewer figured out, whether it's going to come from Milwaukee, whether it's going to come from Oak Creek, Racine. They want Raymond to get that figured out. Number two, and part of the reason for figuring out the sewer, is there are going to be large companies that are most likely going to be contacting the town of Raymond, and probably pretty soon, in the not too distant future. So these are big companies like BASF, Dow Chemical, other large companies like that are basically coming in on the coattails of Foxconn. Foxconn, being such a huge conglomerate, is going to need they're going to be using chemicals to make their phone screens and other screens that they make for TVs, phones, so on and so forth. So Dow Chemical, BASF, of course, that just makes sense that companies like that are now going to be moving here and setting up shop. And I believe BASF was actually had a company located in Racine years back. But that was the other thing that the county executive said, is that they were going to be contacting you. The third thing he said is that you, Town of Raymond, board members, you don't necessarily have to allow them to come in and set up shop here. And I don't know if I necessarily believe that. Again, I think that if a big company wants to come in and set up shop, there's not much that we're going to be able to do about that. So those were the three things I took away from it. I'm going to be continuing to find out where the meetings are, attending them, live broadcasting them. I'm going to try and get some different interviews set up and show maybe a little bit of a different perspective. Right now I've been focusing on what's happening to the residents, because right now that is, and I shouldn't just say right now, but that is the most important part of this whole thing, is what's happening to the residents and trying to provide as much help as possible there. that's all I got for today. I hear my kids screaming in the background, so I better go take care of business, a different kind of business. Thanks for tuning in. Please share this with anybody that you know that is a resident within the area. I would love to be able to meet with each and every single person and give them a proper rebuild cost in which it's going to be to rebuild what they have now. Again, that's the amount that you need to be able to take forth to Mount Pleasant. Don't just get a basic appraisal, an appraisal that says, this house here, your house, is similar to this one over here that just sold. It's the same size, same color, so on and so forth. This house just sold for $180, so we're going to give you $180 for your house. No. What does it cost to build this house today? What does it cost to buy the property that you're on today? To plant the grass? If you've got large mature trees in your yard, those are $1,000 a piece. Your lilac bushes, $250 a piece. We need to account for everything and bring that forth to Mount Pleasant. So again, please share this if you find this to be helpful for somebody that's within the Foxconn build zone or anybody that's got any general interest in this. If you like or follow my page, you'll get notifications every time that I have an update on this. So that's all I got for today. Have a great rest of the day and a good weekend. Thanks for tuning in.